Welcome back to another video on the African Consciousness Truth Over Lies YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about a very, very important issue. Over the past few months, I have been just reading, listening to what is going on in the Chicago public school system. The removal of a black male educator, Principal Abdul Muhammad. The extent in which white teachers and the racists within the Chicago public school system and their effort and their success of removing Principal Abdul Muhammad from his position is nothing new. The removal of black male teachers have been a systematic nationwide enactment that goes back over 4 decades. You see, we as black people love to say, and let me rephrase that, but Negropeans love to say that a person's skin color doesn't matter. But they are the only group of people in America who says that. They'll tell you, because they have been highly Christianized, that the color of Jesus' skin doesn't matter. Again, we are the only group, they're the only group that say that. White people will tell you Jesus is white. Hispanic people will tell you Jesus is white. Black people will not tell you Jesus is black. When you go into the churches, you see images of a white Jesus in the black churches. You will never go into a white church in America and see a picture of a black Jesus. However, when you go to Europe, when you go in the churches, in the cathedrals, you will see images of a black Mary and a black baby Jesus. But white Europeans will still tell you that Jesus is white and the Virgin Mary is white. So the reason why I'm saying this before we get into the topic is to shed light on the psychological conditioning of black people, particularly those who I would label as Negropean. Now, not every black person is a Negropean, but at one point, most were. It is because of living under a system of white racism that controls every aspect of our lives. And I do mean that. A lot of us would like to think that we have control over our own lives, that we are free. But no group of people can ever be truly free without economic independence, without knowing their history, without those amongst that group of people who are highly educated in matters that are important to that group, for that group success, and for the continuation of that group's success. Black people are not not in control of our lives. Because at any moment, our freedoms can be taken away. And if you shaking your head saying, no, that's not true, then at night, go to the wealthiest white suburb and walk down the street with a hoodie on. And then tell me, or if you make it out alive, and if you make it out alive, tell me that you're in control of your life. Okay? So I hope that made sense. Just to put things in perspective. And now, like I said, within the past 4 decades, the systematic removal of Black male educators from the public school system in America has been a war on us as a people and as children. I want to highlight this this principle. Again, I'm going to be doing a reaction, and I will also interject and add some things on top of what he's saying. And shout out to the African Diaspora News channel. Subscribe to that. I have subscribed to that channel since its first inception. And there's not too many YouTube channel such as this that have over 1 million follower. In actuality, it's almost 1,600,000 subscribers. When we as Black people, particularly those who have an understanding of white racism, when I go on YouTube and I specifically look for Black content creators, and specifically Black content creators that are speaking the truth, they don't have a lot of subscribers. Okay. And that's done on purpose. And I always say, is it hurting you to like the video? Even if you may not um, be interested, you know, for me, I'm into tech. So, I'm constantly looking for Black uh, content tech creators, and I subscribe to their channel. But I also subscribe to Black educators channel, whether they're Muslim, Christian, or what have you. Because if they're doing important work in terms of speaking the truth, then that's important to me. Now, we have Black content creators who like to engage in what I call Sambo activities. I don't subscribe to them at all because they're pandering to a group of people because they want that money, like Fresh and Fit, who I was subscribed to, but I unscribed them and see what happens. See what happened to them. Their channel got them monetized after they put out a racist video, not on YouTube, but on another platform, and just had to unsubscribe from them. But anyway, the African Diaspora News channel should have way more subscribers than they do. The Crimson Channel, the Crimson Cure channel should have way more subscribers than she does. The um, the business YouTube channel should have way more subscribers. Chantal Simone, Shay Sade, The Medium Man, Dr. Baat. There are a whole list of black content creators that should have way more subscribers than they do. But we have been conditioned not to support them, even when it's a subscription, which doesn't cost you anything, or a like, which is not going to cost you anything. But it helps them. Okay, it helps them get their content out there. Also helps them to earn money off of the content that they are creating. But we don't want to support them, and we never stop to think or understand why. We never stop to think why. Also, Dr. Oba Tashaka, his channel. Why? Because our education has a lot to do with this. How we are educated within the system of white racism is how we are going to react and treat each other, how we are going to treat our children. And this is why you see there have been this systematic effort to remove black male teachers. 90% of the teachers in American public school are white. But more than half the students in American public school system are black students and Latino students. And so when I see things like this happening, particularly today, we like to think that, because we living in 2023, that somehow racism doesn't exist anymore, even though, we constantly see, hear, whether it be our own experience or the experience of those that look like us. But we don't take these things seriously. We don't react emotionally the way we should react. We on survival mode, but we never stop to think about what the education system have done to us. We never stop to think how the removal of black male educators have been a systematic plan and effort to destroy not just our minds when we were young children going to school under this white racist system, but now our children. I want to bring this fact, right? This is a PDF. Let me share my screen. Okay, wrong screen. Here you go. This is a PDF which you can find online. Impact of same race teacher match on student outcomes. the impact of teaching diversity in education. I want to highlight a few things. Okay. Again, this is research. This is not anybody's opinion. This is research data. See, the vast majority of us, and I do say the vast majority of us, love to talk about our anecdotal experience. We love to talk about our anecdotal experience as if uh, it is the norm, right? As if most black people in America have the same experience. We never look at things from a logical standpoint. We never look at things from an evidentiary standpoint, from a research standpoint. And again, our education has a lot to do with that. So, this is a research document which give you the study, the data collection and analysis, and the findings. Okay? So, I'm going to just point out a few things. The exposure to same base teacher and student disciplinary outcome of black students in North Carolina. And the findings, if the overall percentage of black teaching force were to increase from the current 22% to 50%, black student would see roughly a half a percentage point to 1% point decline in the likelihood of exclusionary discipline on average. Given that only 11 to 35% of students receive exclusionary discipline, 1 percentage point would represent a decline in suspension of between 3 and 9%. We know that in America that black boys are suspended the most. We know that they are put into uh, disciplinary programs after school the most. Now let's look at the effects of teacher match on student academic perception and attitude. So if you look at the bottom here, okay, let me see if I can show my mouse. There you go. All right. So the effect of teacher match on students' academic perception and attitudes. If classroom where students share gender and or racial characteristics with their teacher, reports of happiness in class, feeling cared for and motivated by their teacher, and the quality of student teacher communication is increased. Students also report putting forth more personal efforts and have higher college aspiration. The largest benefits are demonstrated. Listen to this now. The largest benefits are demonstrated by black male students assigned to black male teachers and black female students assigned to black female teachers. So don't tell me that color doesn't matter, particularly if you look like me. Don't tell me that. Okay? Before I read the next one, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Maat, who has a STEM summer program. And my kids had to go to summer school. right? And again, it's through no fault of their own. It is the um, failure of their parents. They reside with their mother, but I hold myself responsible, even though I try to be there as much as possible. So I do hold myself responsible also. So being that their summer school is over, I am trying to prepare them for uh, their next grade level classes. Okay. So that is me taking the responsibility of doing that, right? Despite my uh, shortcomings, right? And listen, I'm very, very uh, involved in their education. Okay. Usually I'm the one that's at the school and handling, a lot of issues. But as a father, I know how it is important to be around my children. Okay. And I try to incorporate, uh, and I've been doing this, all right. But I just want to shout out Dr. Maud for this because, I posted her link to the STEM program that she spearheaded for the summer, and I wish her all the success because she is a visionary, and I'm just proud that we have women like her, black women like her, who understand the importance of STEM and are actually doing the work. Okay, actually doing the work. So shout out to her. All right. So let's talk about the unconscious bias in the classroom, evidence and opportunity. All right. So the findings, they found that the unconscious biases of teachers and school leaders led to underrepresentation of women and minorities in computer science and STEM. These biases, excuse me, these biases have been confirmed in various studies, including one where professors were sent emails from fictitious prospective doctoral students to professors asking to meet white male students receive more and faster response than female and non-white students in computer science and STEM. Implicit association tests also find that both genders unconsciously associate men with hard science and women with liberal arts. While asking teachers to while asking teachers to suppress bias have been shown to be counterproductive, teacher focused intervention, both pre and in service, offer a promising and scalable way to positively reshape classroom context to be more supportive to all students. Now, let me say this. When I was a student, particularly in high school, I was, I used to draw, right? I mean, my drawings were amazing, amazing, right? My drawings, teachers used to, you know, um, put my drawings, right, on the walls in the school. Okay. But none of my teachers were predominantly white, either white male, white female, or black female. None of them saw and looked at my talent and pushed me in that direction. Not even my mother. Again, and I'm saying this to be real. I love my mother. She's a good woman, God-fearing Christian woman. Okay, but she didn't see my talent, and so when it was time for me to go to college, even my guidance counselor didn't even push me in that direction. And when I look back at things, particularly today, when I see our kids and how our children continue to fail within this school system, white racist, this white racist school system, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. So, are we going to continue to engage in this behavior of being not concerned when it comes to having black male teachers within our school system? Because what has happened in Chicago is proof, and again, we've always had the proof, but there's more proof on top of that to tell us that we need to start educating our kids more. And as black men, we need to take our children education more serious. And I know we do. My brothers, I know we do. But I want us to focus more on pushing our children into the STEM field. Okay? Pushing our children into the STEM fields. All right, let me go back here and let's play the video.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're here, with our brother Abdul Muhammad. Now, you got to hear his stories because, it was really messed up what happened to our brother here. You was a principal, correct, at the school in Chicago?
Yes, sir. Lindblom Math and Science Academy in Chicago.
Okay. So tell us the story, what happened?
Okay. So, Brother Phil, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. And what happened with me, I've been an educator for 29 years, 25 years of that has been in Chicago public schools. I've been in some of the most challenging environments in the city of Chicago, serving our children, and in a lot of those environments, mainly black children. And this year, or I should say last year, 2022, I was selected by the Black LSC, because Lindblom is a black school, 75% black. It's in a black community. It's in Inglewood, in Chicago. And the LSC selected me to be the principal of Lindblom. Lindblom is one of the top schools in Chicago and one of the top schools in the States. It's ranked number 8 in the city, if I remember correctly, and number 22 in the state. So this is one of the top schools in Chicago. There were people in Chicago public schools, when they found out that the LSC selected me to be the principal, there were people within Chicago public schools. One, his name is Devin LaRosa. He was my network chief. He had a problem with them selecting me to be the principal. And another lady named Latasha Williams Ford. These were some of the people who we know because we have testimony from the actual LSC members. When they selected me as the principal, they wanted the LSC to start the selection process all over again. And the reason that they wanted them to start the process all over again is because of my religion, because I'm a Muslim, because I'm a member of the Nation of Islam. So there were calls, there was pressure being put on the LSC member.
All right, let me just pause it here. And I want you guys to think about this. Okay? You have 2 black individuals, one male and one female, together with 7 white teachers, male and females, who did not want Principal Abdul Muhammad to be principal of that school. Why? Not because he wasn't qualified. He was highly qualified. He had an exemplary record as a principal and as an educator within the Chicago public school system. They did not want him there to be principal because he was a Muslim. Now, go and do some research, and I want you to see the stark difference when you have principals who are male and Muslim and principals who are white, Christian, black, female Christian, black, male Christian. And you will see in all instances where you have black male Muslim principals or you have black male Muslim teachers within that school, the students do better. They do better. Okay? Not also that, but when you have black male Muslim teachers and principals, you look at the math and science scores, they tend to be higher. The students tend to be more interested in math and science. And this is for black boys and black girls. See, Christians, whether they're white or Negropeans, tend to want to indoctrinate the kids with their religious belief system as opposed to educating the kids. Okay? And this is just another example of the hypocrisy and the contradictory mindset of the Christian mindset. And yes, I'm attacking Christians because in this instance, it's very well deserving. They didn't care about the kids. Okay? They did not care about the kids, and they've shown that. And they all should be fired. Not Principal Abdul Muhammad. He should not have been removed from his post. But understand that when it comes to black educators, and this includes black Christian educators who care about our kids. So I'm not going to throw all of them under the bus. Right? You will find that when those schools are successful, when the students of that school are graduating at a higher rate, what do the state always do? What do the public educational system authorities, right? What do? They will create false investigations. Not also that, they will engage in discrediting campaign, and they will always use the having a relationship, a sexual relationship with a student. I did a video called Understanding the White Racist Playbook. Okay, but it seems that we as a people ignore these things because we don't even have a clue as to what white racism truly is, right? And the white racist system, what it has done. We just look at our experience as if it's, everybody experience the same thing, when we know we don't. We all experience racism, but not all of us see it. And for us as black people, the more money we make is the more we tend to ignore racism. Okay?
To start this process over again, they stood strong. They made their selection. So we started the school year. CPS did a lot of underhanded things, tried to undermine everything that I did. to make a long story short, you had 7 white teachers and a black clerk. Even though the school is a majority black school and it's in a black community, 90% of the teachers there are white. Unfortunately, right. So
90% of the teachers are white. Think about that.
By design.
right, absolutely. And these are some of the brightest students in Chicago. So the 7 white teachers got together with a black clerk and told over 83 lies that we can prove that they're lies. We have it documented to the CPS law department, to the network chief. And on March 31st, they removed me from the school based on the lies of these 7 white teachers. And they did not provide any evidence of what they said. They just said it. And the law department went with what they said. And on March 31st, they removed me from the school.
Oh,
Okay. So understand this, that white teachers can make an accusation and get a black principal removed from the school. How is it that when accusations are made against white teachers, that don't happen, right? It's always, we'll have to wait and see. We have to look at all the evidence. But without any evidence at all, they can remove a black principal. Again, we as black people, we don't truly love our kids. And I say this because I mean it. We don't. We don't truly love our children because we've been conditioned not to love them. This is how we've been conditioned not to love each other the way other groups of people love each other and the way other groups, particularly white people, love their children. Why do you think you see the attack on education, particularly when it comes to the history of the black experience here in America, particularly since the enslavement of African people on these shows? Why do you see the attack on black history in America? Because white people don't want their children to feel bad or to have any negative feelings. But yet, we will see black students participate in mock slave auctions. And it's, we don't make a big deal about it. Okay. The parent of that child or those kids may get angry, but the black community don't get angry. Because why? It didn't happen to our kid or to our kids. So it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine as long as it's happening to another black child and not my black child. I'm fine with it. But guess what? If you're fine with it, when it happens to your child or to your children, don't get on social media and complain. Don't go on the news and complain. Because you were okay with it being done to somebody else's black child, right? So that they can dress up as slaves and go through the reenactment of being sold. And the fact that black students will even, particularly in high school, okay, I'm not going to talk about elementary school, but whether it be junior high school or high school, you should be teaching your children that that's not okay. And if any one of their white friends, so-called white friends, right, or a group of their white friends suggest such things, then those are not their friends. And I say this to say is that they there should have been a broader, wider, and deeper outrage of the removal of Principal Abdul Muhammad. But I understand that 80% of black women are highly religious. 70% of black men are highly religious. And so, why do I say that? Because the 86% of black women who are highly religious, their religious faith is Christianity. And the 70% of black men who are highly religious, their religious faith is Christianity. Right? So the removal of a black male principal who is Muslim, supersedes the positive impact that he has and is having on their children education. They rather continue to see their children fail than succeed, because the principal of the school is Muslim, and particularly from the Nation of Islam. If there's one group of people within our group who are religious, who have fought tirelessly to uplift black people, who fought tirelessly to defend black people, are those from the Nation of Islam.
Oh, so they went with I'm white and I say so.
They went with I'm white and I say so. And I have the investigative report. They don't have any documents. They don't have any evidence that I did these things. It's just their word. I'm white and I say so. And because they said it, the white investigator, her name is Kelly Tarrant, the white investigator took everything that these white teachers said as facts. The only person, if you read the investigative report, the only person that she fact-checked was me. She didn't fact-check anybody else. Let me give you an example. One white teacher by the name of Ian Brannigan said that on December 22nd, there was the first snowstorm in Chicago, December 22nd of 2022. And so we had a lot of teachers call off that day. A lot of students were absent. That was a Friday. So Ian Brannigan lies to the law department and says that when Mr. Muhammad came to school on that day, he showed up late and he didn't do anything to help the students, right? So Kelly Tarrant in the law department didn't fact check that. So I fact checked it. I went and looked inside of the swipe time, the times people swipe in, that, any investigator would do that. I swiped in on December 22nd at 7:46. Mr. Brannigan swiped in at 7:47. The law department did not fact check anything that any of these white teachers said. They took everything they said as actual facts.
Wow. Wow. The attack is it's horrendous. I am angry, and every one of us should be angry too. See, we like to put ourselves on pedestals. I got a high degree. And that's fine. You deserve it, right? You work hard for it, okay? And I, for one, will always commend you on that. But because somebody who looks like you, okay, who's also highly educated, who also have, a high level degree in whatever field, but they're more realistic. They're giving back to the community. They are taking measures, spending the time to improve the lives of those of us within our community, our children. And for me, I'm not religious, okay? I'm not religious at all. But I, for one, will always support anyone, regardless of their religion. If you're black, you love black people, you know, you're doing your best to educate black children properly. You know, you care about our kids, not just your own. There is an immense level of respect that I will give to you and have for you. You know, but some of these educators, some of these people who, you know, with these high degrees, they just want to get a job, which is fine. Get your job, do your job, what have you. All right. But what you are doing and participating with these races, these white races, I'm going to call it for what it is a detriment to not only you as a black individual, but the community in which black people live, black children, your brothers, your sisters, even your very own children. Okay, and I, for one, I'm appalled of what these people did.
Well, you mentioned they had a problem with your beliefs.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything documented that says that?
Absolutely. We have a teacher Facebook chat where they're in the Facebook chat talking about my religion. We have emails that show that even before I got to the school, they were emailing the network chief and other people talking about my religion. So that's documented. We have the members of the LSC who receive phone calls from people in CPS, and in these phone calls, they're asking them, why are you hiring this Muslim? So all of this is documented. All of this is evidence that we have.
Wow. And also, let's understand this, right? That here's a black man. So regardless of his religious affiliation, white men and white women do not want to work on the supervision or the managerial position in which black male are their superior. Black male will always be their subordinates. They're fine with it as long as black males are not their superiors. They would have left them alone. But because he is their superior and he has improved the grades of, well, let me say, he has helped improve the children, black children test scores by giving them something to look forward to, by spending the time, right, making the effort in which these white teachers are not doing, and in which these black female teachers are not doing. Because black men, we care more about our community than our women. And it's not the fault of our women. And we care more about the education of our children, particularly our male children. Because you see, a lot of black women have been conditioned that, particularly if they have children, such as if they have two kids, one's a boy, one's a girl, education is more pushed on the girl as opposed to the boys. Okay? It is that deep internalized hatred conditioned into their subconscious, and the hatred of black men, particularly since 80% of women in the black community who have children, they don't have a man in the house. The father's not in the house. Okay?
To show that this was the cause or the root cause behind what happened at Limblom. There was other layers to it, but that was the root cause of everything.
And when you mention CPS, you mean Chicago Public Schools.
Chicago Public Schools.
So people hear CPS, they think of Child Protective Services.
Right. No, CPS, Chicago Public Schools.
Okay,
Yes.
so, and correct me if I'm wrong, But doing that would be a violation of the Civil Rights Act,
Absolutely.
1964,
Absolutely.
because there's a clause about religion.
Right. So religion is a protected category. So yeah, this is something that, and that's part of what we're fighting with.
Only on paper, because you see, a lot of these miseducated Negropeans, right, will tell you that America was founded on Christian principles, right? And I have to laugh because I'm just like, okay, if America was founded, as you see, on Christian principles, because we know we love the white evangelicals love to promote that lie or keep spreading that lie, but we know America was not founded on Christian principles. America was not founded on any religion. Okay? And like I said, if we educate our children properly, they won't believe this lie. Because when you have black adults, right, who know that, you see, it's okay if their religious freedom is protected. But the fact that here you have a Muslim brother as the principal, they will do anything and everything to deny his religious freedom. See, Christianity is a tool that was used against black people. Okay? White people didn't have a clue of how well Christianity would work in indoctrinating the minds of black people, into which within their subconscious they would align themselves with white Christian racists instead of a black Muslim brother or sister who wants what's best for black people. Christianity has worked so well in conditioning the minds of black people into just ignoring those that look like us, that may be of a different belief system, that are actually doing things to improve our lives and the lives of our children. They would rather live in dysfunction with Christianity as the banner of their religious belief than with a functional mindset, one that is more progressive and advantageous to us as a group of people. And I'm not promoting Islam. I'm just saying, when you have black men and black women within the community who are doing the work, they're not pushing their religion onto you. And I always say, if you want me to join your religion, particularly Christian people, you guys set a bad example. Okay? You have to lead by example, by actions, not by words. And black Christians, they lead by words. And I'm sorry to say, when I look at our black Muslim brothers and sisters, they lead by example. So if I was to join any religion, it would be Islam, particularly the Nation of Islam, their organization, I should say, their religious organization. Okay? Because they have shown by example that they want what's best for us as black people. Okay? And I was raised in a Christian family. My mother is very religious, was a deaconess. She's retired. My father was a pastor, Christian pastor. And how I came out of that, and I don't want to, move on from the topic, but I just want to say that. But how I became out of that was by, reading Malcolm X. Reading books on Black history by Dr. Joseph Ben Joachim, Dr. John Henry Clark, not Dr. Professor Robert, I forgot his last name. But there are a few, right? A few black people who done the work, to educate us on our history. Um, Ivan Van Sertima, his book, The Golden Age of the Moors. Once you start reading these books, educating yourself, you have a totally different mindset once you know the truth. Okay?
That's not the only thing they did. That was just the beginning. So, for example, when and so your listeners understand, when a principal is selected, everything is in the public. So they have public meetings. They have what is called a forum, a principal forum, where they bring the candidates to the forum, and the public gets to question the parents, the teachers, the students, the community. They all ask questions of the potential candidates. I participated in several of these. Everything is done in the public. The day of Lindblom's forum, and the video is on their website. The day there were 2 candidates. They started out with 11 candidates in the principal selection process. They narrowed it down to 2, myself and another sister. The day of the principal forum, the other sister drops out of the race to be the principal of Lindblom. So I'm the only candidate. I come to the forum, and for 2 hours, I answer every question that they asked. Now, at the end of the forum, what's supposed to happen is
See, that sister was smart. Okay? And, always respect black people who understand sometimes when it comes to certain situation, self-sacrifice for the greater good is, something that inherently they understand. All right. And the importance of, again, having that male principal, because that sister understood that he will have more of an impact, and because of his credential, all right, that he will have more of an impact, not just on the young black male students, but the young black girls as well, female students, right? That is powerful to me.
Supposed to be a public announcement. This is our candidate. This is who we're moving forth with, right? But that didn't happen at the Lindblom Principal Forum. The moderator came to me. Her name is Ms. Wheatley. She's an LSC member. She came to me and said, well, there's something going on. We'll call you and let you know what our decision is, right? So what I didn't know at that time is that when I became the only candidate, that is when the LSC members started to get calls. And what they were telling them, Mr. LaRosa, who is the network chief, Miss Latasha Williams Ford, who works in the Office of LSC Relations, they were telling the LSC members that they need to start the process over again.
Wow. Humiliation, discrediting campaign. Never mind that he was well qualified. Okay? Never mind that the sister dropped out of the race. Now they want to start the process over. Wow. I am going to have to do a part 2 of this. I didn't want this video to be too long, but again, it's important. It's important that that we as black people, we need to put aside our religious belief, and we need to start supporting the people that are doing good in our community, that want our children to succeed, and that have shown through their action that, our children are succeeding under their leadership, under their watch, regardless of their religious affiliation. Okay? But I understand the highly Christianized Negropean mindset will always be to push white racism first, okay? Even over the benefits of their children within the educational system by having a teacher who of a different Muslim faith, okay? And even when he has shown to be an effective and efficient principal and leader of that school, that they will side with the white teachers, male and female, who continue to use psychological manipulation, right? Particularly planting the seed in which the minds, particularly of black boys, with negative doubts and with a sense of hopelessness. Okay? So this is going to be part one. I will be doing part two. And, you know, I do my research. Okay? I do my research. When I speak on these things, I don't speak from a point of my opinion, you know, and I think, you know, I may not be an educator, okay? I basically went to college for graphic arts and computer engineering and didn't graduate. But, you know, that don't mean that I can't have a voice with our black intellectual men and women, that I cannot, you know, speak on matters of importance. You know, with me, I will always defer to the expert. This is why I always do research. Okay. And so when I do the research, I'm giving you the information from the experts. Okay. As well as, you know, my own opinion as well. But, you know, I will always state that it's my opinion. All right. And since I know that we don't like the truth, you know, I'm not going to push lies in order to gain recognition or to gain a following. And I see this all over YouTube or social media when you have black people who are pushing the truth. They tend to have very low subscribers. Yeah, and that's a shame. That's a real shame. Okay. And so, with that being said, I will see you guys and speak to you guys on the next part of this video. Again, this video is the importance of black male educators. And I'm going to go through a couple of research articles, okay, which again shows you the importance of black male educators on black children. And I think it's something that we need to start to put to the forefront and really push within the school system the hiring of black male teachers, particularly in schools where you have predominantly black male students. Okay? Because I guarantee you, in the communities where you have white people, and within that school system or those schools in those communities where it's predominantly white students, they are pushing for the hiring of white teachers, and particularly white male teachers. All right. So see you guys in the next video.